Hey everybody, today is Tuesday, May the 17th. Currently right now I am at my son's school because he has his last state testing math portion today. So I just have like my work set up in my car, have my computer, my notebook, my company phone right here just in case anybody call me. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I have been in the medical field for the last 10 years with the last 3 years specializing in clinical research, and now I am a clinical research associate. So I mainly go around to the East Coast and West Coast and manage different clinical research sites, any type of human participant sites. So if you are a clinical research site level, like a doctor's office, university, something of the sort, and say for example you're doing a ophthalmology trial, and if I was on an ophthalmology trial, I would be your monitor. I would be coming out and looking at your source documents, making sure that everything I review is verified on the piece of paper that you're recording all your information, whether it's a paper or whether it's electronic. So that's kind of like the gist. And what I like to do is just record. I like to record my day-to-day activity because a lot of people, including myself, before I really got into clinical research, I thought clinical research was more so of a lab-based setting. And while that's true in a sense, there's so many different roles that you're not even having anything to do with labs at all. So I also enjoy, when I'm not at work, just recording different bits and pieces of my life, because as a mom and as a person who works full-time and do content creating, is very interesting. It's very interesting to see how somebody's able to manage all the different parts, you know, within their day. So keep watching. Today I don't have any meetings, but anything can change because normally with my company I need to be available between 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock, and right now it is 8:57. So I have 3 minutes to basically, well, I'm already logged on. I have my little setup, like I said, in my car while I wait on my son. But generally, if I'm at home and I'm not traveling, the idea is to make sure that if somebody reaches out to me, I'm able to answer my email in a timely fashion. I'm able to answer that call in a timely fashion. And then from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, that'll be the time that I can be scheduled any meetings. So I don't have any meetings today. I don't have any meetings Wednesday or Thursday, but Friday I do have like a general global CRA call, and that's at 12 o'clock. And I think that's going to last for an hour, but you know, things are subject to change. Like I told you in my other videos, I have finally been placed on a study, and it's been a long time coming. Like, every company is different, but one thing about this particular company I've noticed, their sponsors want to interview you. Like, oh my gosh, like not all, but some of them, they want to interview you to see like your knowledge and things of that nature before they allow you to be on their study, which I understand, because a lot of times people, they say that they've done clinical research for years, and you know, thankfully, you know, they get the job, but unfortunately they don't have that knowledge, and it really shows when they go out to monitor a trial. So I do get it, but this particular company, they allowed me, they accepted me in, so I'm just grateful for that. So what I'm going to do now is just go over, see if I have any emails that I need to answer, and I just like to review the protocol. Like, any type of downtime before I start like fully traveling, I like to review the protocol, the IP instructions, like the plan, how it's administered, how it's prepped, all of that. I want to make sure I'm knowledgeable about that. And I also like to look through my sites just to see if anybody's been randomized, if anybody's been screened, and things of that nature, so I can kind of set everything up so when that time comes, I'm not just scrambling around. But I will talk to you all shortly. So what I'm doing now is looking over Metadata Rave. I was just granted access. So Metadata Rave is one of the EDC systems that is popular, that sites use to document things like adverse events, the physical examination, making sure the ICF was signed and things of that nature. So I have to go over the actual training so that way I am granted access. I spoke with my line manager today, and like I told y'all, I am allocated a 1.0 on my study. So I have roughly 40 sites. So my sites are going to be located, let me tell y'all. So I have sites central, southeast, and yeah, mostly central and southeast. So I have a total of 39 sites that I'm responsible to manage. So once I get to a stopping point with metadata RAID, because I want to make sure I get access to that, I'll start calling each site, or at least some type of email notification, introducing myself, giving my contact information, so that way if they have any questions or concerns, they can reach out to me, the unblinded CRA. Once I'm done with that, I have, I think, 2 sites that I have to do a unblinded SIV, and I also have to schedule a meeting with my line manager so that way I can get the slide deck, so that way I'm prepared to do the unblinded SIV. But one thing I want to tell you all, make sure that you advocate for yourself. If you feel like you are a newer CRA and your line manager, they come to you, because oftentimes, sometimes we are allocated onto a study and our line managers, they don't come to us, you're just allocated on there. Even if you are not given the opportunity to say, hey, yeah, I do want to be a 1.0, just speak with your study team, like your line manager, and say, hey, you know what, I think that this is too much for me. Is there any way that I can start off with less sites? Because one thing you don't want to do is get burnt out, because I speak on this highly. In this field, you can get burnt out easy. So it's better to advocate for yourself now before you get burned out and you're like, you know what, no, I'm quitting. And a lot of times we don't have to quit if we just speak up and advocate once again for ourselves. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish my RAVE metadata training, and then I have martial arts today, self-defense, you know, at, what time do I go? At 7:30. So I just want to make sure I get ready for that, and I'm pretty sure if I don't pick up the camera anymore today, I'll come back on here tomorrow to give you all a update on my mental plan as far as how I'm going to make sure that I stay on top of these 39 sites, like how I separate everything to make sure that I do my monthly calls for this site, make sure that I am looking in the CDA system to see if any patient's been randomized, screening, things of that nature. So I'll be back shortly, okay? Okay, so it's officially the next day. It is Wednesday. It is roughly 8, what time it is? It's 8:08. So I just came downstairs, and what I'm about to do now is log on, check any emails that I have, because like I mentioned earlier in the video, my main time to be available is going to be from 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So from that 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock period, I have the opportunity to check my emails. I generally don't eat anything early in the morning. I just have like a bottle of water. But since I just started on this study, I'm kind of going to go ahead and jump start in my study activities. So I'm going to log in, and I'm going to show you guys how I am organizing the transition of me coming onto the study. So right now I have 39 sites. Right now I have 39 sites, 38 sites, excuse me. I have 38 sites. So I have to introduce myself to the site, and I'm also going to jot down who the unblinded pharmacists are. So if it's just one person, I'll name that person, and if it's a couple of people, I'll have all of their names within the Excel spreadsheet. So that way I have something to go to when I need to contact the site. So you can have 3 people who are considered the pharmacist, but you may only have one person who is the primary pharmacist. And that primary pharmacist is who you will contact if you want to schedule any type of unblinding monitoring visit. So that's why I just want to have like a go-to, so that way. And I'm sorry if I'm slurring. Once again, I told y'all before I have my Invisalign in. So if I have that primary contact, I can just put a P beside their name, and I know email this person. So that way you know for sure that what you need is going to get answered. So instead of you all seeing my actual documentation of like the sponsor's name and all of that information, I'm going to pull up just a blank Excel sheet, and I'm going to show you how I label everything. All right. Let's see, make sure you can see that. Okay. So right now you see the Microsoft Excel sheet. So my actual project manager forwarded me over an Excel document, and on that Excel document had a list of my sites. So to the left hand side here was a list of my sites. It had like my site number, PI name, the name of the site, how many patients are randomized, if they're in the screening phase, if unblinded SIV already occurred. So that's what I got on my Excel worksheet. What I'm doing now is adding tabs, so that way I can say, okay, I introduce myself to the site. Yes. Billy, Emily, and Darlene are the pharmacists for the site. So what do? So if here is your site number, right? So we have site number. This is what's going to come from your project manager. You know, every project manager is different. So you have site number, we have whatever here, we have whatever here. This is going to be the headline, like the topics, okay? Now, if you want to come here and you're going to say, okay, I want to add a column because I want to say that I introduce myself to the site. You go to insert, introduction, right? And then you can say, yes, I introduced myself to the site, or you can put no, that you didn't. Next column, go ahead and add another one. Once again, this is for me. This is how I keep myself organized. Let's see, pharmacist. I'm jotting down the pharmacist's name. All of the pharmacists that's associated with that site, I'm typing their name here. Documentation, making sure that I documented this contact in whatever system that your company uses. That's what I'm going to have here. Document contact. So if I went ahead and I documented the contact in the system that my company used, I'm going to go ahead and do yes. So that way, with 30-something sites, I have the opportunity to make sure that I am, one, introduction to all the sites. I have the pharmacy. I have that person's name, the pharmacist's name. I document the contact, and I have all of the other information that was already provided to me from my project manager. So let me set you guys back here for a second. So that's one thing I like to do. Everybody does things differently, but when you are coming in as a new CRA, or even as someone that's new to the company, you're going to bring in the way how you do things to make it work for you. I can tell you all day, hey, these are some great tips and tricks, but you may start to incorporate some of that into your daily function, but you're going to add a little sprinkle to it to make it your own, so that way you are not just overloaded. It is 10:03 right now. And what I'm doing is just taking me a little breakfast break. I made me a smoothie, as you guys saw, just so that way I can have a little bit more energy to start off the rest of the morning. So I have completed 5 contacts. I've completed 5 contacts, but I have emailed I think like 15 site contacts altogether. So everybody that's listed under that particular site personnel contact, I'm reaching out to them if they are a unblinded contact, so that way I can introduce myself, say, hey, if there's been any type of site changes to staff or roles, let me know. And that way they'll have my contact information too if they have any questions regarding the unblinded portion of the study. So right now, one person reached back out to me. There has been tons of changes, I already can tell, but the way how my company is, we have like a lot of different moving parts. So I am reaching out to the site, and then I have to go into our system and select that I made a site contact. But since I'm unblinded, I'm not going to add any of my contact information within the actual system that we use for monitoring visit reports and that we use for like contacts. So I'll go over to the Microsoft Word template, and that's when I have to then like, it's double work, but it's not double work, but it is double work if you understand what I'm saying, because you're going to different systems just to complete one task. So like at my last company, regardless if you're unblinded or not, it's like we have restricted access. So people that was blinded didn't have access to the unblinded information. But here, for whatever reason, I guess they just want to make sure with this particular study that everything is completely separate. So that glare. So therefore, any type of communication I have with my sites, I'm not able to just place it into my system like I would normally do for this company and just save and go on about my business. I have to place into my system that I did a site management contact. Don't add any type of communication under that site management contact, and then go over to the Word template, add all of my information there, save it, sign it, and then upload it to the actual system for unblinded information. So it is a lot, especially when you have 40 sites that you are managing. It is definitely a lot, but that's why I'm trying to knock it all out by 2 o'clock. I want to have all of my emails out to the site by 2 o'clock, and that way I can start on the second portion, which is the Microsoft Word template. So you have a 3-day turnaround time from the time you actually do the contact to the template needing to be finalized. So today will be, of course, the initial reaching out to the site. So I have a certain amount of days after, just like I said, to make sure everything is finalized. But for me, I don't like to wait. I like to go ahead and knock it out so that way that task can be done.